There we go. And one more thing before I get going here,
Yeah.
because everybody's going to want to. Yeah.
This isn't streaming to my X. Like, even though it says it's streaming to my X, like it says it's streaming to your YouTube and to my YouTube, but X isn't showing it, and I don't know why. It hasn't shown it for like 3 days.
You might need to reconnect and get a new stream key. Your stream key might be outdated. I don't stream to X anymore because I stopped using StreamYard. Because, dude, $100 a month for this app was fine at $14 or $15 or whatever it was for the month. But when they put it to almost $100 a month without just no update, just like, hey, by the way, it's going to be ridiculously expensive. I went with it for a little while. And the whole time I was looking for reasons to not like it and be like, I got to get out of this, and I never did. And then I was changing the way I was doing stuff because my home base now, Vive Zombie asked the question, what do you use now? I use OBS right now. So when I was crafting OBS and setting it up, I have these different panels. Like if you put me on full screen, I have I move around. I have all kinds of different stuff. And I had all these different tabs. Well, those tabs, none of that works with StreamYard. And all it did was just screw up my entire aesthetic, everything. I was bubbly. The ratio wasn't right. So I was just like, you know what? I don't want to do it. I'm going to set it up where I think I'm using 1440p on YouTube right now, which was better than the 1080p that I was using before. So it just stood to reason that there was going to be an upgrade of some sort that I would make on it. So I just canceled StreamYard. And the one thing that I learned was that X, every day, if I want to stream on X, and I actually have the software, I just downloaded it yesterday to start streaming on X again. And I forgot this morning. And but I have to have a stream key, and that stream key has to be implemented. So might be your stream key.
Okay, because it says it's doing it. And my friend Omar this morning, he was able to send it to me. It just wasn't showing up on my and I think Crypto Rain had it the other day too, where it wasn't doing. But yeah, I will look into that.
Not sure what I'm really not sure what Elon's got going on at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's always other things.
You might be getting more comments coming in here since we're dual streaming now. But anyway, now that we're there, the update was very, very long and very, very thorough for anybody. And Tom is not the guy who waits until the end of the day. Tom gets this shit out as soon as he possibly can. And I think the way that we should look at this mostly is this is all about a pivot to a different type of infrastructure for what Dev is doing. So from my understanding and from what Tom has been saying, partnership is still fine. He was the guy who originally set this up. It wasn't Ray. It wasn't somebody else. It wasn't Mango Steve. It wasn't Austin. It wasn't Davin. It wasn't any of these guys. It was Tom that originally set this up. And then he handed it off to this team who's been with it for a while. And I've heard rumors about what happened between Tom and Ray. And from my understanding of the rumors, they had a difference and they had a divergence of opinions on what their next steps were going to be or what they should be. And I mean, Ray had been there for 7 years already. And the things that, they were hoping to see happen didn't happen. The deals that seemed to be coming up. I mean, who's making I don't know. What I always saw was Tom saying, I'm not really involved in this. I have no idea. So from what I look at, Tom, not really involved, but still talking to people in chat and Telegram. And Ray is supposed to be the one, I guess, setting up dev stream deal and stuff like that. And then it fell through. And then when you start to zoom out, none of the things, none of the deadlines, none of the scope of what they were trying to get accomplished got accomplished. So at what point does somebody hold people accountable and responsible for that? So I think they had an uncomfortable conversation is what I would guess. They had an uncomfortable conversation in which Tom said, look, I'm getting tired of you making me look bad. you are my friend. We've been together for 7 years. I consider you a friend, but this is not working out. That's what I would say is probably the case. And, Ray, probably, I'm sorry you feel that way. I mean, what do you expect me to do? This is what happened. This is, you know what I mean? Like, I assume that they had a little back and forth about it. But at the end of the day, Tom he's that guy who does not like, this is one of those situations. I'll just say this about Tom. He's not a person who, when you say you're going to do something and you don't do it, he takes that lightly. I think that that's the case. And I think that Ray, as the salesman, probably just kind of started rubbing him the wrong way in that, Tom knows what he wants. He's not seeing it happen. And by the way, everybody who's holding a bag of dev, including the development team, is wanting to see a generational pump. Everybody is looking for that. But it's just something that, it did not feel like it was going across the finish line with the team that was in charge. That's really what it looked like. And I don't know that that changes anything about the partnership. I don't know that that changes anything positive or negative about anything. I just know that he's looking at it, or Tom is looking at it saying, this is my baby, and you guys have not properly managed the process. And I think that they had that conversation. And after they had that conversation, everybody on Team Ray was asked to leave. That he would rather pivot. And I don't want to be disrespectful to any of these guys because I've had good relationships with a lot of these people. But I mean, again, I'm going to go back to tell you guys, and Penguin probably knows this more than anybody else in the chat, but going back a year ago, I was partnered with Dev to produce content. And in February, they just didn't pay me. Nobody talked to me. I reached out to Davin. Davin kind of ghosted me. I reached out to Phil, I think, at that point. And Phil was like, I have no idea, man. You got to talk to this person. And he gave, there's a person that you talk to that I already knew the name of. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll just send something over to this guy. So I sent something to that guy. And a day later, he sent me back and said, you weren't on the payroll sheet. So I don't know. And then I went back to Davin and I reached out to Davin again. Now, to be clear, to this point, I'm not even, and this is the best part, like, I'm not even mad at the guys. If they don't want to partner with me, so what? There's plenty of people who do. So I didn't care one way or another. I mean, I did care because, to be fair, just so you guys understand, I really like the Dev project. I really like the team, Dev, and I really think that this is a generational opportunity. I think this is going to be one of those next big, explosive, blow up, billion-dollar projects. Like that's my thinking at the time. It was an honor to represent these guys for any period of time. Okay. Especially for as long as I did. And by the way, my wallet got hacked about 3 months before we ended the partnership. So it was all stolen. Like a lot of my original Dev bag was stolen. Yeah, they took, and by the way, this was at the top of the, this was when I want to say it was trading. It wasn't too bad. I want to say it was about 15 cents. So they sold 80,000 Dev at 15 cents, 10 grand, something like that. And then that shit ran up to $1.80. Like, if they had had a little patience, they would have annihilated the chart. I mean, they would have annihilated the chart. Yeah. So, I guess that's the positive part to it. But then, then they started paying me again for a few months, and then it just ended like that. And it was Davin who never even bothered. It took me months. And by the way, I told everybody, I'm up front with people. I told them what happened. Moving forward, it took Tom September, October of last year to finally apologize. When I was talking to him about something, it's entirely different. I'm like, look, I just want to tell you the reason that I have a problem with some of the stuff that like the reason that I'm saying it publicly is because I don't have anywhere else, and I don't hide things from people. You pay me, I tell people I got paid. They ask me how much, I will tell them how much. I want it to be an open book because I've always wanted to be that. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that. And I'm going to say that it's going to sound disrespectful to a lot of these guys, so I'm going to refrain from names. But I know a lot of crypto bros who you give them a bag and they just sell out and sell out and sell out immediately.
That's most of the KOL.
Right. And they dump on the chart. But here's the problem with that is, if I don't dump on the chart, I'm riding it down to the bottom, which I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
If I sell, I have the opportunity to buy back in later. But again, nobody wants to hear that. So I chose to hold the bag and all of that. So anyway, October, Tom and I have whatever conversation, and he apologizes. He's like, yeah, you know what? That was bullshit. And they should have been more respectful. I'm like, dude, all I asked for, you can tell me thanks for the effort. Go F yourself. I don't like your effort. It was nice having you. It was horrible having you. Whatever. Just give me closure. They never gave me closure. So then I got the apology, and then I talked to Phil, and Phil was like, you know what? You're so right. This is absolute BS and stuff like that. Then we got to the point where DevStream was doing their thing, and DevStream was supposed to give them $1 million a year for the next 3 years. And, in the memo, it said because Dev needed that bridge funding to pay bills. And I was like, that's awesome. So then I said something. By the way, I didn't know about that at the time. I had read through it, but I just, I have ADD. So sometimes I just read stuff and I don't even realize what I read.
Okay.
So I may have read it and it may have been in my brain, but that was not why I said it. But I said in chat, they need some funding in order to finish the project. Well, then Phil reaches out to me and starts getting mad at me for saying it. And I'm like, dude, what are you talking? Like, that's the truth though, right? Like a few minutes later, I read through the thing again. I'm like, Phil, it says it right here. Why are you coming at me over it? And Phil was just trying to do what Phil's trying to do. He's trying to keep a clean chat. He's trying to keep people focused. He's trying to keep FUD out of the chat, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, that leads up to, about where we are. So anyway, with that out of the way, I'm still here no matter what issues I had, because I believe that Tom knows what he's doing. I believe that he's got his hand on the pulse. I'm not sure tomorrow everything could fall apart. I'm not saying that because Tom's involved, everything's perfect. I'm saying that Tom's leadership, to me, is a good leadership method, style, strategy. He keeps expectations low. When something happens, hopefully it'll be something good. So anyway, long story short, we get all the stuff in. By the way, there's when this is written down and stuff like that, if you read through it, then there's gonna be moments when you feel pumped and stuff like that. But basically, everything is still on the table. Nothing is off the table. Austin is no longer the chief marketing or chief content officer or
community manager, whatever he was.
Whatever the alleged job was. And Austin is my friend, by the way, from other projects. Like, I know Austin personally. So I've reached out to him. He hasn't replied to me. So I don't know exactly, what happened there. I can tell you this. Tom wants Austin back on the team. Okay. Because, we like Austin. I say we, like we're on the team. We're not on the team, by the way, for anybody who's wondering, but Austin, I think Austin's a good guy. So he wants Austin back. But he then, we started to break it down. Ray, they had the falling out or whatever it was, and Ray's gone. And then turns out Ray's team is gone. And oh, by the way, for those of you that don't know, one of the rumors was that I can't remember what it was, but Ray was doing something that Tom just didn't like. Like, he was making decisions without Tom that Tom felt should have been decisions that were made together or something like that. Like, there was just some kind of thing where Tom was no longer feeling that he was part of something that he was part of. And, that led to friction. Friction leads to decisions, and decisions were not great. Or at least it was not great for that. So anyway, This is the statement of the announcement. Dev and Fias are embracing AI for future growth and business targets. The Fias platform expands DevX by making it easy for both AI and traditional builders to deploy real-world applications, while existing DevX financial products remain intact and moving forward, including Dev Exchange, Dev Lending and Borrowing, and Dev Liquidity Routing. DevX provides the high-scale transaction layer. Dev provides liquidity and settlement. CTS enables atomic trustless exchange. Fias-built DevX projects will require DevX capabilities directly feeding into the existing Dev ecosystem. While rollout specifics and timing depend on funding, much of the underlying technology is already built or architected, and Fias AI's development framework dramatically accelerates delivery. Everything is being amplified. More apps, more transactions, more Dev utility, stronger ecosystem. Funding for both Fias and Dev is actively underway with interest already received. Once funding is finalized, this will unlock clearer delivery timelines, structured growth plans, and accelerated execution across the entire ecosystem. By embedding AI natively into the chain today, DevX isn't chasing the AI narrative, it's front-running it, positioning Dev as core infrastructure for the coming AI economy. So unpack all of that. While we're in the middle of creating this new exchange, everything is converting to AI. Claude 4.3, which came out in October, has fundamentally changed programming in a way that you will never see programmers anymore. Like you will never see a team of programmers like you saw before.
Dev
Claude,
salaries are going down. And I don't mean like Dev, like Devve. I mean like developers' salaries are going down because they're just not needed anymore. You have a junior developer do the work of 4 senior ones that they could last year. Because like most of the code, like the new AIs, I think 5.3 for ChatGPT, that helped write itself. Like it was the first AI that came out where its predecessor helped write it. And like that's not going to get like worse. That problem's on, I don't want to say a problem, but that's only going to accelerate. And any future AIs are going to be written by AIs mostly. It's insane.
You know what? As a matter of fact, let me step out here and tell you guys, when it comes to AI, I've also had a conversation with Tom, and there is a distinct possibility. It's nothing set in stone yet. Okay. How do I even say this? I've got Tom, or I'm going to be able to, when it's ready, Tom's going to build me a few AI agents. They're going to run my entire system. Like they're going to run everything for me. They're going to handle my emails. I'll have it set up the way I need it in order to handle emails. Like I have this entire AI ecosystem that I explained to Tom that I was like, just if I had 3 AI agents that did this, this, and this, like that would be way more efficient. And what I would love to do is be able to show people real time that this is what's happening and this is how easy it is with an AI agent. So you might see me talking about this very, very soon. These Fias AI agents that are either I'm going to be creating through the Fias platform or Tom's going to be creating for me, and we're going to train them. I'm not sure exactly how the Fias training program is yet. Like, training the agents is the hardest part. Or at least that should be known to be the hardest part now that Claude's out here. So, we're going to go through the training process and stuff like that. And I'll show you guys that as well. And then, we're going to deploy some AI agents and we're just going to see how it goes. One AI agent for my like Twitter management, one AI for my YouTube management, and one AI for my email management. And then you guys are going to be able to see real time exactly what the power of all of this looks like. Hopefully that's the theory of it. So anyway, going back, so Dev needed to pivot to AI because everybody else is embracing AI. Okay. The end, like that's, at the end of it, that's what matters the most. So right now we've got this part happening. And now the question is, how does this lean into the partner? Okay. And one of the things that he also says is this is not a pivot. We are not fundamentally pivoting, in my view. Rather, we're taking the fundamental financial infrastructure we've been building for years and applying it within what I believe to be the largest up-and-coming category. So, Tom's all in on all of this. Okay. Then Fias and Dev are now merged together. Remember, they were multiple companies. Now they are no longer separate. They are together, and that's a pretty cool thing. Now, the questions, the other questions that there were the partnership. That's one of the biggest narratives right now. So as far as team and development and stuff like that, Ray Quintana is no longer involved with Dev. As our direction has evolved towards the AI blockchain, the path forward requires a different set of skills and focus. This direction simply wasn't a fit for Ray's skills and interests, and we wish him well in his future endeavor. That to me means that Ray was let go. That's the way that I read that. And, in business, you never just say, we fired this guy or this guy quit. Like, you just say, the direction wasn't a fit for his skills and position, and we wish him well in his future endeavors. That's what they say in wrestling when they don't renew a contract with somebody. I mean, that's just, it was very, very simple. We currently have 6 developers working across both platforms. Bill continues to manage DevX and DevX applications and has already started applying AI towards refactoring efforts on the code base. A great example of how AI is accelerating our own development. Remember, we were almost done. So AI is supposed to make it go faster. More broadly, AI is making development incredibly fast, and we plan to use it to dramatically accelerate our DevX development. So now, whatever was going to take a month is now going to take a day. So that's going to be a pretty cool thing. TradFi partnership. Many of you have been asking about our previously disclosed TradFi relationship. I want to set expectations appropriately. This relationship is not dead. Over the past 12 months, we have been actively, and this is why Tom annoys all of us, okay? Because he doesn't say it's very much active. It says this relationship is not dead.
I'll come in here with, I don't even want to call this alpha, but it's very much active. Like, there's nothing. Yeah,
right. He just has a way of setting your expectations like super, super low. Okay. Over the past 12 plus months, we've been actively working alongside the partners tech team on implementation of the exchange, and that work has progressed throughout the year. Momentum paused when funding was not received, and we are currently in discussions to determine how best to move forward together. At the same time, we believe our new AI platform creates additional synergies that could be compelling both for this partner and for other institutional relationships. We'll share more on these as the conversations develop, and he has a call scheduled with them, so they're going to be talking about it. So now go ahead, Randy, and remind people that everything is fine.
Everything's going to be okay. I would love to take in the interim, would take Austin's spot if he were to not come back. But again, we all want him to come back. But there's a reason I can't. No, that's all I'll say about that. But we're good, guys. We're good. Keep on going, please. Doing great.
All right. So that leads us to random questions that people have, and that was most of the team. And he gave an update on who was gone from the team that you guys would know. I don't have a status right now on Solve Maxwell. That's one guy that's still sitting out there that I don't know what's going on. I don't know if Solve was on Team Tom or Team Ray or what that was.
Actually, I could find out. A buddy of mine's friends with him. I'll let you know.
All right. Also, it's important to note that Tom decided 300 million tokens is the maximum that they want. They don't want 2.1 billion. If you remember, there was some discussion about expanding to 2.1 billion tokens, which was going to be, a cutesy way of being just like Bitcoin or something like that. Instead of 21 million, it was going to be 2.1 billion or something like that. But he decided 300 million is all there will ever be. There's no need for more. We live in a society that can, you take one dev and you can pay with 0.01 dev. Like, you don't have to have it broken down. Just like Satoshis, there's 100,000 in every, isn't there 100,000 Satoshis in every Bitcoin?
Yeah.
You could do the same thing. I mean, it's infinite, 15 characters, I think it is. So, I mean, you don't have to have more. And for Penguin asks, so do I buy more Dev or Fiat now? Look, if you didn't buy the other last week, I told you guys, if you don't buy at 0.008, you are going to regret it. It's trading at 0.014 right now. So you're up 80%. I gave you the easiest win of your life a couple of days ago. Okay. So do you buy more? You should have bought last week when I said and begged everybody, please buy some, because it was going to go back and do its thing, and it's doing its thing. So should you buy more Dev? Yes. Should you buy more Fiat? Also yes. But anyway, to to bring it all back home, I am more bullish today after the announcement than I was at any point before, despite the fact that Tom absolutely sucks at hype. Okay. But maybe I'm going to be the hype man. Randy's going to be the hype man. We're going to be the hype people. Tom's going to be the pragmatic approach to getting it all done. But here's the thing. The underlying sentiment for everything that we've been experiencing and listening to and hearing out of Dev so far is, first of all, we're delayed, but also in the course of the delay, Tom got into Claude 4.3 and the game changed fundamentally. And now they can program lightning fast compared to what they were doing before. Now, that means that if the partnership is still secure, and I'm going to shake my head like this, if it's still secure, then they're moving faster than they were before. And then to close out two pieces to that equation, the one thing that they said that they needed was CASP and VASP licensing. CASP is for crypto, V is for everything. That includes NFTs and stuff like that. I think the CASP license covers everything now in most places, but some like I think Europe still requires the VASP license as well. But overall, everything is looking like it's accelerating and heading towards an end game very, very rapidly in that context. So you've got all this stuff happening and it's all starting to coalesce into a push into making all of these things happen very, very quickly. So I had 2 points and I fucking forgot them both. So
talking about CASP and VASP, and you're
the licensing. Yeah, the one thing was they need the licensing, but the number two thing was they'll just buy a company that has one if they need to.
Yeah,
and that was also very easy for them to do because there are some people out there that there's small companies that have these licenses, and all they have to do is a merger where they just kind of take control of a company or something like that, and they got the license. So that was something that they were not even worried about or interested. Like it just seemed like, I'm not sure exactly what that means, but that was the smallest portion that they were not even worried about.
Yeah.
So
that part's easy.
Yeah. So here we are at this is at the precipice right now of they're going to get their shit done very, very quickly. And then once everything is done, they're going to be able to pivot right away to, well, here, big partner, where's the announcement? We did everything you wanted. So
that's true. And they would set like a date for us. They would tell us, be like, hey, here's the announcement date, or here's where we're going to talk about it. Like they would put that back. It's not just going to be wake up one day and we have it. They're going to talk about it and hype it up beforehand. Speaking of hyping things up, I'm going to send you a text. And it's about, speaking of hype, some Definity numbers for January. And
God damn.
Yeah, don't say it. But so that was January, which was insane. Needless to say, I bought more Definity. It's been a good time to buy. It's been a good for me. Obviously, not financial advice. Anything can go to zero a little, but I'll say this. Listen, for stuff like they're like a cash cow. They just print money. They're like. So I'll give y'all some alpha about Definity. There was man who was looking to raise funds like years ago. Happened to run into somebody that he knew from somewhere. It wasn't even that much he was asked for. I think it was like a couple million. The guy's like, I got other stuff I'm doing right now. Who does he see at the Young Entrepreneurs last year? They reconnect. That same guy. Back in December, dude tries to give him in the 8 figures. Like, hey, can I give you 8 figures to put in this company? And man is like, Bugs Bunny, no, because too late now. They don't need it. And now I know the best time to raise money is when you don't need it. And clearly they don't need it, but the stuff they're doing with Bloomsbury Money, having the Charles Hoskinson Midnight Foundation stuff, Manu did say something exciting would happen when they get one or two more names. Now, it's not public what it's going to be yet, but I don't like, that's probably one of the biggest names you could get. I don't know what other names you could partner with. But just your general thoughts on Bloomsbury, Definity, token price, company, Manu, etc.
Okay, so as far as, I don't know Manu in the way that you do. Okay, so I don't know why the announcement neglected to mention the token. That's that's the part right now that, you know, like that's where I think from a crypto standpoint, that was a whiff, because they made an announcement that they had partnered with this billion-dollar blockchain, $600 million blockchain right now, but billion-dollar blockchain when they made the announcement, that was on the privacy side of a $14 billion blockchain in Cardano. It's a $15 billion ecosystem. They're a $1.7 million crypto. So to me, it looks like a misstep in the announcement. However, there really could be that they were not allowed to do that because Midnight and Cardano both said, you know, we don't want this to be announced. People will find it eventually when it's time and we're active or something like that. So there will be a moment of exposure where you're like, oh my God, you know, and look, what I think is going to happen is I think you're just going to wake up one morning and it's going to be 20x or 30x or something like that. It's going to be discovered by a bunch of people. But again, I think it's going to be a little closer to some really big moves that's going to happen. Because here's the thing, at the end, they have a partnership with the Midnight Foundation. They're going to be providing payment, transaction, and solutions and Forex trading to the Midnight chain. The Midnight chain is going to be an important blockchain in the economy because it is privacy based, and fundamentally, you can't be tracked on the Midnight chain. That's the important part. This is about pure privacy. So being in that situation, Forex traders are going to love that. Everybody's going to love having their privacy restored. So no matter what, they have a massive partnership. They've announced a massive partnership. They just forgot to announce that, oh yeah, and by the way, we have this crypto. So I don't know how they fix that or if that's even broken. I don't know, but you know, that to me was a misstep. But again, there could have been a reason for it. Ultimately, you're going to wake up one morning and it's going to be 20x. You're going to go to bed happy that you're up 20x. It's going to retrace and you're going to be up like 10x. Then you're going to wake up the next morning and it's going to be up another 10x. And then you're going to go back to sleep down because it went back down to 5x, and you're going to go to sleep again. You're going to wake up the next day and it's going to be another 5x. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be a spot there where people understand this is like a for real, legitimate, oh my God moment in crypto. And to be fair, there is enough money in crypto right now that it doesn't matter what the market conditions are. What matters is the announcement. $13 billion, or 12, I think it's about $13 billion for that entire ecosystem right now. Came down $2 billion since the announcement, but that's $13 billion that's sitting there, which could drive Definity from 1.7 million market cap, in my estimation, to 50 to 100 million market cap. That's not even a huge amount of money, but it would be life-changing for the project.
And just to let you guys know, so there's been, I don't want to say FUD, but there's been questions because their Hidden Road was a prime broker that got acquired last year by I think Ripple. And they're like, well, what happens if they're in the same field as DMA Link? You know, what happens if they get acquired? What happens to the token? And you don't really know, but I know Manu. Paul from Definity is on Crypto Rain's channel every week, every Wednesday, and he's followed Manu for 20 years. And you don't follow someone for 20 years unless they take care of the people around them. And I'll tell you guys from personal experience, Manu has changed my life by letting me invest not just in the token, but like in the companies that he has, and just doing cross shareholding agreements with me and doing everything. And I will make a video later this year about it and everything. And I would like, if he gets a outside offer, that it's not going to be from someone that he knows, but for like an insane amount of money, I'm sure he'll take it. But I guarantee you that if he does, the token holders will get paid out. Or the only reason that they wouldn't is if the new buyers of the company want to keep the token and use it as utility, and they want to keep on going. That's the only reason why he wouldn't. But if it gets bought by an outside company, he'll make sure the token holders get paid at a nice premium. Like, it's not going to be like we're at like 1 point whatever cents now. It's not even going to be a 2. It's going to be a nice multiple. But that's if that happens. You know, we're not sure.
Yeah, Vive Zombie says, at this moment, what's the better opportunity in your opinion, Dev or Definity?
Depends which one goes first.
Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing: if you're playing the game the right way and you feel good about both, you should have a hand in both pies. Whichever one explodes first, take your profits out, fold them into the other one. I mean, that's the way you do it. Pay yourself, buy some more of something else that's going to run, and just see which one goes first. Now, to be fair, I think that, or you know what, I don't even know, but I was going to say I felt like, or I feel like, look, I am annoyed that Definity didn't blow up when the announcement was made. Again, like, I thought that was kind of a misstep because they didn't mention anything along the way about the pieces that should have, but like, I don't know the reason why. So, but if I'm guessing, I'm going to say Definity is going to go first. And, that I think that, oh, by the way, we should probably talk about the other part, and that is when these things do start to pump and we start to get these. I think one of the things that Definity and Dev have both missed out on is getting listed on exchanges, because they didn't want to spend any money on it or anything like that. Like, they didn't want to do whatever, But
and if Honda Game is just listening and he can't see, the symbol is DEFX, Delta Echo Fox X-ray. Sorry, keep going.
Oh yeah, DEFX. Matter of fact, it ends in contract at. Oh, you know what? Shit, I can just put the contract address in here. Duh. There we go. There's contract address. Ends in 8EDA.
Yeah.
Anyway, so my feeling is Definity. But I mean, it could be anything. I mean, it could be, it could be either one.
Agreed. Before we move on, Mike Guzelian, be advised, OKRT is up like 30% today after that news. So it depends what you think is going to happen with them after the actual merger. If it does happen, you just, I don't know. You could buy it here and it could go 10x, or you could not buy it here and go 10x. You could buy it here, it goes down 30% tomorrow. We have no idea. Anyway, that's a lot of times usually what happens. The 14 FUs and what can they hit this run? You kind of mentioned that before. It could go up to 100 million fairly quickly, just because that's what crypto does. It's undervalued. But I also don't know, like, people aren't going to know the revenues. I don't know if they'll. I guess Manu did say at one point he wanted Definity to get to $1 million in revenue per month, and they're not there yet. But I'd say before summer they get there, maybe even by spring. Give it a couple months, who knows? We'll see. But yeah, but normal people aren't going to know that unless like they watch me or you, they watch whatever. Oh, okay. Yeah, I could put that in the chat too, Zombie. I'll contract the dressur.
Oh, by the way, somebody asked a question earlier about OMI. And for anybody who was asking the question about Omi, I just want to point out, I gave you all a level, and I said that it was going to go to about 0.0002, and it did a couple days after we had that conversation, by the way. So shout out. The market didn't stay good. We still have some problems in this market, and it's not, it's still struggling, but yeah.
Hey, what's up, C-Boss? Meow, 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 meow. Hope you're doing well. Good man. Good man. Okay, there you go. So the address is both I have done it and Bleaves have done it. We have both done the thing. Oh, all right. Somebody wanted to get a little bit. They got 24 doll hairs worth of Definity. Very nice. Not much. So that was good. Bleaves, I know you said you did have to bounce at some point. You let me know when. It doesn't. And then we can see you on Friday.
Yeah, in a few more minutes.
Sweet. Did you make any money on the Super Bowl? Did you make any bets? Like that guy that bet $33,000 and he won.
I don't bet. My biggest problem is I'm a crypto bro, and I don't like Kalshi. I don't like Polymarket. I don't like what Coinbase is doing with their own prediction market right now. To me, that's pure gambling. I prefer to shine myself up and gloss myself and call myself an investor.
Same.
And not a gambler. So, I just, as a rule, also, I had some situations as a child. I don't appreciate gambling, and I don't like gambling, so I don't.
I will not invite you to Vegas because I sometimes
15 years ago, I went to a casino, and I've been to plenty of casinos because of their buffets. But 15 years ago, I went to a casino, and I think it was like my wife and I, we took $20 each. I put $20 into one machine and played one game, and I was done for the night because I was not going to sit there on a penny slot just playing this thing over and over and over again. So I walked in, there was one for $1 and you could play like 20 different ways. So I put $20 in, I pulled it one time, didn't win anything, and I was done. And if I had won, I was cashing it out anyway. Like I was not going anywhere with it. I was either going to win or lose.
I took a girl to a casino so when I was younger, I hadn't necessarily dated in a while, and back in the day, it was just like 20 years ago. It's like, okay, you arcade and mini golf, or ice cream and something like that, something fun. And after my back was hurt for like a year, I get back in dating again last year when my back gets better. I take this girl to a casino, and she seems a little uncomfortable. Like she's like, I'm just gonna watch. And she seemed a little uncomfortable. It's like, just, put like something like here's like, here's like $50. And she's like, no, she put like $20 into a machine. It's a Wheel of Fortune thing. It's like $700. She's like, fuck yeah, I love gambling. I was like, yeah, see, told you. And she was very happy. And then, she cashed out. She played a little bit more, but she cashed out like $650. I was like, oh, good for you. How do you feel about the rescindment of the Fed chair, where he had announced Warsh and then he disannounced Warsh, and somebody made a killing on Kalshi and Polymarket, presumably the Trump family. But what do you think that Judy's like? What do you think of all that? Do you think that he had done that on purpose to get the betting odds high, and then they make like $8 million on the other side of it? Or do you think that Warsh said something stupid in the background and Trump's just like, oh yeah, well now you're not Fed chair, and maybe he wasn't on the opposite end of that?
So there's two things that happened. Okay. He said it was a mistake to nominate Kevin Warsh. And then he came out yesterday and clarified that what he meant to say was it was a mistake to not nominate Kevin Warsh the first time when he nominated Jerome Powell. He finally admitted to his mistake. So he just really pivoted and did a complete 180, because I think he just misspoke when he said that it was a mistake to nominate Kevin Warsh. I think what he meant was, because again, he cleared it up yesterday. He said it was a mistake to not nominate Kevin Warsh back in 2017 or 28, whenever he put in Jerome Powell the first time. He said that that was a mistake. I think he was just misspeaking when that initially happened, because now everybody's like, well, Kevin Warsh is definitely the guy at this point. Economists are worried that Kevin Warsh is going to be too hawkish, and economists who don't like Donald Trump say that he's probably going to cut rates too fast.
Of course they're saying that.
I mean, this is just grab yourself a sip of haterade, because it doesn't matter what happens here. It's going to be just it's like I was watching today, Congress, there was congressional testimony with Pam Bondi, and I have zero respect for Pam Bondi. Okay. No matter what, I have zero respect for Pam Bondi. She is, look, there's some people, if you support the president, support the president. You should. We should all support the president. But we should also recognize when things are wrong. Even recognizing when things are wrong. Here's what I mean by that. When Trump screws up, we should hold him to account that he screws up. When Pam Bondi screws up, we should hold her to account that she screws up. But we should also remember what the alternative is or was. Okay. When 2020 ended and Joe Biden took over, there were 1.4 million cases pending for deportations and stuff like that for citizenship. By the time we were out of the Biden administration, there were 4.2 million cases, which means they were not handling the caseload and they were not doing anything about it. And they were causing this enormous backlog, which of course meant that they were just rushing people into the country and giving them citizenship when maybe in effect they hadn't earned it. And they were giving a lot of like, oh, we're so sorry that you came all the way here, have an ID, that was the alternative. So you cannot like Donald Trump or something that he did and still understand that he's a better leader than Kamala Harris was, or even Joe Biden. And I don't think Joe Biden, by the way, was a bad leader. I think he was getting a little bit messed up at the end, and that was affecting his ability to cognitively think. And, the same as Donald Trump says some whacked out shit, so did Joe Biden. He's like, here, little black kid, rub my leg hairs. Joe Biden is this. I mean, they're just a bunch of old people, and they're just arguing old people points. That's and to say that one person is all good and the other one is notoriously bad at any and everything that he does, you're both in cults. So we should all get out of those cults, and we should get back to, if Donald Trump makes a mistake, we hold him accountable for the mistake, but we move on and we support our president. It's not hard. It's not even difficult. People just don't want to do it.
Right, geez.
See, you can't, like that right there. This is a matter of Donald Trump said that to an American citizen. Okay. Even if Donald Trump doesn't like that person, he still represents that person in the country and on the world stage. And he's talking that kind of shit to his own people. Okay. So Donald Trump is a problem when it comes down to it. Like, he is a problem. When that's improper, it's a disgusting way of communicating to anybody. But I mean, aren't they doing the same thing to him every day?
In a much worse way, yeah.
Right. I mean, don't clutch your pearls because he said, shh, piggy. Don't clutch your pearls when you didn't have a problem with all the shit talking that people did about about Donald Trump, or about I'm so glad Charlie Kirk is dead. There's so many different things that people have said that are just so inappropriate. Even if you don't like Charlie Kirk, you shouldn't be wishing death on anybody. Or, what? I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying that, in my opinion, we shouldn't be wishing death on other people. And, I think Charlie Kirk was controversial, but, he was really just most guilty of saying comments you didn't like, but being out there for you to have that conversation with him face to face. He didn't hide. He went to campuses. He debated with people every day about his principles and his beliefs. Were his principles good? Were his beliefs good? I mean, that's a debate that we could always have. There are, situations in which Charlie Kirk just got dominated in debates. Ben Shapiro gets dominated in debates. Was that Isaiah Austin, that guy, the liberal who's out here for the last bunch of days on Jubilee getting famous. They're not right all the time. It doesn't matter what side you're on. You're not right 100% of the time. There's a guy named Dean Withers. He's a young kid who's a debater. And then there's another one, Parker Gets a Job or something like that. These are just left-wing, progressive liberals who just talk some of the dumbest shit you've ever heard. But young people enjoy it, and they get hundreds of thousands of views every single day, just debating MAGA live. And it's crazy, because you listen to them and they say the same thing over and over and over again. It's just, I mean, let's at some point, we're going to all have to figure out that what we're doing right now is being controlled by the media, but it's not working for us as people. We should be more accepting of one another, and we should be able to move on. By the way, politics didn't matter to anybody until it was Donald Trump. You know what I mean? Like, nobody gave a shit about politics until it was Donald Trump, and now everybody's a goddamn politician. Like, it's insane.
I like whatever the left version of Charlie Kirk is, and you might have mentioned him in one of your lists there. Like, I would love for that person to go out and be like the left version of Charlie Kirk, because that dialogue happening, like, there's so many echo chambers, and I see it all the time on like Reddit, X, wherever, where someone's just so far right or so far left, and they only surround themselves with people that agree with them. And I mean, I lean right, but I think the left has a lot of great points when it comes to drugs and a certain subsect of gays. Obviously, you have a lot of mental illness on both sides there, but I think there's good points to be made on both sides, depending on the issue. And if you never open up your mind to thinking about it, that the possibility that you could be wrong, then yeah, that's not good for anyone. It's not good for the world or people. So,
well, the guy that goes into the Lion's Den is Adam Mockler. He's been going on these shows quite a bit. There's another one. His name is David something or other. I don't like him. He's kind of like the problem. The problem with the liberal army, I guess we should maybe call it. The problem with the liberal army is they've got their talking points, but some of it is just nonsense. Like, I don't care how you lean or how you think. Okay. I don't think that if you are born a biological male and you transition to a woman, you want me to call you a woman? I'll call you a woman. You want to wear a dress? I'll tell you look pretty in a dress. I'm probably lying to you, but I will tell you look pretty in a dress. Like, if you want me to treat you as a woman, I will treat you as a woman. If you want to be considered a woman, I will consider you a woman. But you can't compete with my daughter in a sporting event. You, in some instance, had more testosterone, went through, whatever it is, whatever testosterone you got makes you better at sports than women. Okay. No matter, and by the way, no offense if there's any women here watching, no offense, but men are better at sports than you are. Okay. Physical labor, physical activity, stuff like that. Men are biologically superior to women when it comes to physical competition. That's not fair. Okay? That's not fair. If you want to transition to a woman and you want to have a woman's locker room, every place has a locker room for you, or they will make they should make an accommodation for you in a men's locker room. It's not disrespectful to say that biologically speaking, you are a male. This is your room. We will cordon off and section you a place where you can be comfortable or something like that. But we don't have to make a women's room in the middle of a men's room because you decided to chop your D off. Mm-hmm. Like that. That's nonsense. That's nonsense.
Agreed.
Honda Game says, do you think men are naturally smarter than women?
I don't think there's any
intelligence from an intelligence standpoint, maybe. From a logic and reasoning, maybe, possibly. I think that from this context, it's probably about 50-50, because I don't think that testosterone, which predicates a man, or estrogen, which predicates I don't think that those have anything to do with intelligence.
Decision making, yes, though.
I think that women are more thoughtful. I think that by nature of women being more thoughtful means that they probably are a tad smarter than men. But the smartest people in the world throughout history have all been men. So when I say that, what I mean is, if we have a group of 100 women and a group of 100 men, and it's a being smart competition, and it's 100 smart men and 100 smart women, women probably will end up winning because of their thoughtfulness and stuff like that. But a single man versus another single woman, the odds are probably the man is going to win.
The two examples I'll give here is that testosterone, especially in younger males, it makes you so stupid. It makes you do things that you wouldn't do. Like it's just to maybe potentially impress a woman. And it just, I mean, there's a reason why this thing called post-nut clarity. Like if you win the lottery, okay, you got to go jerk off, and then you got to, because you're not thinking clearly unless you have that PNC. But for girls, there's a thing called girl math. Are you familiar with it?
Oh, yeah.
So for people that don't know, it's just like, oh, if I pay for it in cash, it's free, because it already came out of my bank account, so I've already emotionally detached myself from it. Or if this thing's on sale, I should buy it now, because if I want it later, I'll have to pay full price and I'll be losing money. So I'm actually saving money if I buy it now. Or if I return something for $50, and then I buy something for $60, I actually only spent $10. It's like, no, you spent $60. But again, that's just the girl math thing. And again, men have unalived themselves doing things that they think would impress a woman. And that's what they decide. They decide, if I do this stupid thing, maybe I can impress this girl. Even if you complete it, it doesn't impress the girl, usually. No. And if you fail horribly to the point where you potentially point. Yeah.
Keep going.
Oh yeah, you potentially like end your life. You potentially you play chicken in a row, and then you win, but you drive off a cliff.
Now let me flip the script. Okay. Because while men are doing that dumb stuff, women are applying war paint to their face every day so that they look pretty. Not for men, but for other women. Women who don't want to be ogled, who don't want to be looked at in a gym, get into their skimpiest outfits to go to the gym. Okay. Women aren't thinking that clearly either. Women love, for some just ridiculous fucking reason, neck tattoos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Bikers, bad boys that they know are not going to be good for them long term or treat them good. So it is not exclusive to men to be dumb as a box of rocks. Okay. Women are capable of stupidity too.
Yeah.
It's just a question of, at the highest level. I think at the highest level, men have always been the smartest people. I mean, we are, what is it? What are we, 1940, 40? So we are 52, I think it is. So we are 74 years away from Einstein passing away. He's still the smartest man that there's ever been. Okay. For anybody who's into physics, for anybody who's into astrophysics or theoretical physics, Einstein is the greatest of all time from a thought standpoint. And then when we go back, we start looking around, and we certainly don't say Thomas Edison, but we say Nikola Tesla. Then we say philosophers, and we always come up with men. Now, it could be that because men dominated society, because we're bigger, stronger, and faster, and women can't stop us, that we feel like, we've been in control and we've had that narrative. But it does, again, Newton was smarter, bro. You don't know that. You just think that because he didn't have as much. Okay. So Isaac Newton, discovered gravity and what else? That the sun was not the center of the universe. Okay. Yes, because he didn't have as much tools. What tools did Albert Einstein have that Newton didn't have? I don't understand where you're going with that. I like the fact, at least we're thinking about it, right? And Isaac Newton should go down as one of the more intelligent people around. There you go. Wes is saying Nikola Tesla was probably the smartest. I'm going to disagree. I'm going to say it was Albert Einstein because Albert Einstein was doing things that the Einstein equation, not Newton's equations. Newton's equations are child's play compared to Albert Einstein's. Like if you want to say that Newton was smarter, okay, for his time.
Yeah.
No, there's no fucking way. Okay. To this point, the only thing that Einstein has wrong, and it's not even wrong. Okay. The only thing that Einstein has wrong is spooky mathematics. Spooky mathematics are basically how two different items can be light years apart and be working at the same time in unison together. There's a communication level that we don't understand yet, that we haven't gotten to. There's something about us. Quantum entanglement.
Like you said,
he couldn't figure that out because it's unfigure-outable. The same way that Isaac Newton couldn't figure out astrophysics and couldn't figure out energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. He couldn't figure that out either. It's just, look, there's products and there's time. And once you've had all these things, Einstein was the smartest person ever. Okay. That's just it. Einstein was that guy. And every theoretical physicist is going to tell you the same thing. And every physicist is going to tell you the same thing. And every astrophysicist is going to tell you the same thing. And then when you get outside of that field and you get into other people, then they're going to say shit like, nah, Isaac Newton was smarter, bro. Leonardo da Vinci was probably smarter than all of them. No, they weren't. No. Albert Einstein's brain is the top that we have right now. And to touch on Honda game, it's possible that if Isaac Newton were born at this time, that I would be disagreeing and saying, Isaac Newton was smart, but he wasn't. So
yeah, I even like current physicists, Witten, Weinberg, Michio Kaku, Leonard Susskind, they all would say the same thing, that Einstein
Brian Greene, absolutely. I listen to Brian Greene symposiums all the time, and there's absolutely just everybody knows this. The only people that don't know this are the people that don't know it, that have some kind of ridiculous other opinion. It's not true. Albert Einstein was the best of us mentally. There will be somebody better, because somebody will figure out spooky mathematics. They will figure out quantum entanglement. What was it that Sheldon Cooper was doing?
Oh, he did a lot. Well, he was focused on string theory.
String theory,
Yeah.
String theory is part of that quantum entanglement, and it's to try to find that black God damn it! Oh my God, it's no, I'm calling it black dark matter. God damn it! It's trying to find dark matter.
Dark matter is insane.
Dark matter, quite possibly, may just not exist in a way that we think that it does. Like, again, there's something that's missing in our equation. There's something that Albert Einstein did not have time to figure out in his life. And he missed something that he couldn't figure out because we don't have the math for it yet. We didn't have the math for it when Newton was around. We didn't have the math for it when Tesla was around. We didn't have the math for it when Einstein was around. We may have the math at a later point. We just don't have it right now.
Even the math now, you're talking about dark matter. So for people that don't know it, like 95% of the universe?
Yeah.
And the only reason we know it's there is because you have certain planets and you have certain things that seem to be revolving around, have a gravitational pull towards something. But it like nothing's there. Like you can't see it. It's like a gas. And you just, oh God, that is insane. That something that is not there has a gravitational pull. And yeah, maybe AI can help us with it because that's already smarter than 99% of people. And
most likely we will. Somebody better than us is going to give AI Einstein's equations. It's going to figure out Einstein's equations, and then it's going to look at the progression of Einstein's equations, and it's going to start figuring out things piece by piece, not all at once, but piece by piece, that will invalidate or validate a lot of different things. Like, for example, just so everybody understands where we are or where we should be, until just recently, we had two thought processes. The earth is 6,000 years old, and God, or wink, wink, Jesus, really, really like to make you search. So before they made the earth, they stuck a bunch of bones in it just to fool you and make you think that millions of years ago there were dinosaurs. Dinosaurs aren't real. Jesus Christ, we're only 6,000 years old. Are you kidding me? There are people that believe that, and then there are other people that believe the Big Bang Theory. And there's a reason that the Big Bang Theory is called a theory. It's because it makes sense from our perspective right now, but we don't know. We're just guessing based on mathematics. The mathematics have been right so far, or up until now, until we got some recent information from some of these new telescopes that are up in the sky right now, peeking through the veil and looking to where we think the universe began. And the flow of the universe is not the way we expect the flow of the universe to be, which means that we are expanding in slightly different directions than what we thought. And they don't make sense, which means that the Big Bang Theory is, or now should be, called into question, if not totally, at least in some fundamental way, that we didn't get it right in our theory. So there's something else happening out there that we don't know yet. And to touch on what Randy said, there are these dark matter pockets that we see gravitational flow around, but we can't see what it is. It is my estimation, and only an estimation, because I'm not a theoretical physicist. It is my estimation by the way, somebody who just said something about the multiverse, Honda game. Do you guys believe in the multiverse? In fact, I do. And I think that there are many multiverses. And I think that our universe did have a bang, an explosion. By the way, we can measure and we can see that there was an explosion at a central point. We can see that. We can go back in time. We can do the math, and we can figure out that something happened where one spot there wasn't, and then there was. Okay. And we can see that it's expanding in that regard. And there's a similarity to it that we know it's happening. But I think that that's from another multiverse, that basically, in my estimation, A black hole is a gateway into another universe. And the black holes over there are gateways into other universe, and gateways there are gateways into other universes. And eventually we're just a bunch of Swiss cheeses that are spitting shit back and forth between each other, each one of these ecosystems. Like, that's what I think is happening.
There's I like that theory. Each black hole goes into another, because if matter can't be destroyed, where does all that matter go that sucked into it?
Right.
Hopefully into another, or else if it doesn't, physics just breaks and just all the equations are wrong. But
entropy is not wrong yet, but entropy would have to be wrong if there were no parallel universe.
So there's also, when talking about simulation theory, yeah, I think both can be true. I think you could have multiple universes, like, because if you're going to simulate something, like if you simulate a war scenario, you don't simulate it just once, you simulate it 1,000 times and look at patterns. So yeah, I'm sure there's other simulations, parallel us's, where I'm white and Bleaves is brown, and then we have things are reversed. I think one of the strongest pieces of evidence for it is probably from Thomas Young's what was that test that he did with the light and the shade and the double slit experiment, where he determined that,
yeah, it was the photon experiment.
Yeah, like light, depending on whether you look at it or not, light will behave like a photon, or like a particle or a wave, and it changes its behavior based on if you look at it. How does it know that it's like that? Is insane. That's like you're in a video game. I've seen this on cruises before, where I know land is out there, you just can't see it yet. Like a video game, it's not rendering until you get close enough, and that makes sense. Like it doesn't waste the processing power unless you're looking at it, and then when you look at it, it behaves a different way. That's, to me, simulation confirmed. We're in a video game.
And Honda game, I can't say whether or not, I don't think that CERN opened up with the super collider a parallel dimension, because in my estimation, I'm guessing here, okay? In my estimation, in order for that to have happened, they would have had to have opened a pinhole-shaped black hole. That black hole would have destroyed the Earth. A pinhole-shaped black hole would destroy the Earth. So there's no way that they opened up a parallel universe or opened up a way to a parallel universe based on our current estimation of stuff. Now, I read fiction books about things where you have, like, instead of a black hole, you have a white hole, which allows you to pass through without the force being applied. But that's fiction. That's not reality. Reality is that there is a gravitational pull. And that's the part that, I mean, so far, if they had opened up a hole into a parallel universe, by all rights, it would be a black hole and it would destroy us all. So,
well, you could have mini black holes that don't really do anything. Like,
well, I also don't subscribe to that parallel thread universe. I like the Marvel multiverse. Like, I don't subscribe to that. I don't think that there's other copies of us, just kind of infinite copies being spit out on every moment of our existence. I don't think that that's the case. I think that there's actual real other universes with life or no life. I think life is a lot more common than we even think at this point, but it's on a scale that we're not ready to investigate yet. So, I don't think we'll ever find alien life in our lifetimes. I don't think that we might come up with fossils. Like, we might make an expedition to Mars. We might do some digging. We might find a fossil because at some point, most likely the sun was hotter at some point when Earth was uninhabitable and Mars was habitable, or maybe Venus when the sun was not as hot as it is now, and maybe Venus was that spot. But there's going to be a spot there where life exists. And it's probably going to be on Venus or Mars, because they're, the prototype, or the asteroid belt between us and Mars. Maybe we're going to find that asteroid belt right there. Used to be a planet, and maybe we'll find some, some life force of some sort, some fossils or creatures or something like that from there. But I don't think is that when doves cry?
I don't know. I never really listened to Prince that much. He was kind of big before I was into.
I was in California and went to see Purple Rain in California as a kid, and it was, man, I can't tell you how amazing that movie was. Like, doesn't hold up, but I mean the music does, but
I guess he was. I could have sworn he died in like the 2000s, not 2016. But all right, I guess. Yeah,
no, it was. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I just Googled
of all guys that we miss, man. Talk about definitely. I think we all definitely miss Prince. I think he was a musical genius. Like, he was a musical genius that really loved music. In fact, how many CDs does he have?
Let's take a look at
I'm gonna say it's something like 70.
How many?
39 studio albums during his lifetime, but he has 80 releases, including side projects. Yeah.
God.
39 during his life, 42 total, and then something in the neighborhood of 30 something side projects.
Jesus.
He didn't care about he didn't care about anything. He didn't care about anything. He just cared about making music. That was him. That was his passion. So Honda Game, I did see Westworld. I watched the first season and the second season. I did not watch the third season because it lost me in season 2 to begin with. I think it was just kind of too boring for me. Oh, by the way, Tom has made some updates for anybody. The Dev Network was getting close, but we had issues we needed to finish. The plan had been to get the last of the issues finalized this quarter, and we were generally on track. But when the dev stream funds did not come in, we had to pause things. Ray let a lot of his team go, so it will take some time now to re-ramp up. That said, timing is actually pretty positive given all the progress on the AI side of things. We are actively exploring taking the Fias tools in order to apply them to the blockchain. Bill started at the end of last week. My belief is that within this quarter, we will not only have a blockchain that's fully functional in a time frame that is faster than what we originally were targeting, but we will be in a much stronger position with a smaller team. I believe we will be able to provide everyone who wants to build with a platform that is more manageable and robust. To your point about focus, the blockchain is innate in everything, and the ability to create applications is one of the big topics described in the overview if you want to go back and read that section. Then there's some other people who were just trying to, look, a lot of people are frustrated. So Roy Austin is gone. Tom has said publicly he would like to get him back, but doesn't know if that's going to happen. Tom says the first priority is securing funds. I have 2 investor meetings today, for example. Investor funds will, of course, be part of what determines priorities. The first priorities I see right now are re-architecting DevX and finalizing the Fias platform beta and its integration with DevX. I'll give more information on direction in the next couple of weeks. So priority 1 is going to be funding, but I think you guys already know that. And then the other priority is how can they fit this in and do all the things that they wish to and want to do. So I'm still incredibly excited about where it is. I mean, obviously, for those of you that don't understand, by the way, the partnership, any partnership that they were going to have with whoever is not named, any partnership they were going to have, the announcement wouldn't have been the launch of an exchange. The announcement would have been that in the future, they're going to launch an exchange. So, I think a lot of people are frustrated because they wanted to hear that, because that would validate the project, that would give everybody an easy 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 100x on their bag. I think everybody was super excited, wanted to see that happen. It didn't happen, which sucks, but that was just the start. That was the start of a build, and we're just going to get all of it compressed a little bit. little bit closer to the bone, if you will. But according to Tom, things are happening faster now because of the updates to Claude and the AI change pivot, if you will. Things are happening faster now than they were going to happen in the beginning anyway.
Yeah. So there's a I have to bounce right now. I have a pop-up meeting that I didn't know that I had. But we'll end it here. Let's try to talk off air for like 1 minute, and then we'll see everyone Friday. Guys, this was great.
Okay.
Everyone say